I have enjoyed a few days off, a few wonderful days off from playing Football Manager, got myself a coffee and I'm ready to dive back in. Now that the celebrations for getting promoted to League One are over, I've decided one of two things are going to happen this summer. Either we effectively rebuild half the squad at least to compete in League One for next season, or I'm not going to be here because I think for the first time since we started this series, I'm probably just going to have a tentative look at the job market for the first time. And there are a few reasons why I do want to do that. Firstly, because of the money situation here at Kings Lynn. Not just for the fact that we are 700,000, good God, 700,000 in debt. I haven't even looked at this screen since I switched it back on. But also we are still failing FFP. I think that is going to change once a bunch of players actually leave at the end of June. I think we'll save, £8,000, which should be enough to get us under the maximum player wage expenditure of 31,000. I don't know if it's the same actually in League One. We'll have a look at that once we flip over to the new season. But also, like I said this numerous times last season as well, are we getting to the point where Kings Lynn are going to be maxing out how far they can go, especially with not much money? I mean, I'm showing the money actually. We've got £26,000 spare in wages and £216,000 on transfers, but I can't use it. I can't even adjust it because we're so far in debt. We're not passing FFP. Can't actually use it to any reasonable extent because obviously we need to get the wages down first. Also, at the end of the last episode, a message came through. Armani Richards did want an improved deal. He wanted, I think, £8,000 a week, something like that. We can't afford that. We can only give him a maximum of £2,600 a week, which is what he currently is on. If I just confirm, yep, £2,600 a week. He wants a major pay rise, and he's now unhappy because he wants a new contract. Can't afford it. So I'm not even going to... I can discuss it with him, but I can't make the actual promise. I couldn't agree more. We can't afford... Yeah, we can't afford it. I really don't want to have to take this further. Why would you want to take it further? See, I'm not going to make the promise because he'll just become unhappy. I can't hide how unhappy this has made me. Do you know what, Richards? If you want to go, that's fine, as long as someone pays us, £500,000 for you. In fact, have you got a release clause? 325,000. Alright, if someone wants to pay us 325,000, absolutely fine. We've received some money there, and we've got the season review here. Perfect. 25,000. Is that for finishing first? 25,000. Good grief. Yes, we did win League 2 last time out, in case anybody forgot. I certainly haven't. End of season review. So, this is broken. We've won League 2, of course. The FA Cup, we got knocked out. I don't even know where we got knocked out in. I think it was the third round. Third round? Yeah, we got knocked out by Sunderland. EFL Cup, Virtu Trophy, don't really care about at this point. But the league was the main one. Just as a reminder, this is how the league table finished last time out. Playoffs are still ongoing, of course. Rotherham and Notts County ended up coming up at the same time. We literally, the top three separated by 1 point. Wigan must be feeling hard done by. 90 points and they have to go through the playoffs. That is brutal. Club vision and expectations. What are you asking for next season? Wage budget. I'm within the wage budget. Everything else is your problem financially, not mine. I'm just the manager. Play attacking football, possession football, entertaining football, high tempo, make the most of set pieces. I would love to. My players, they're tall enough and they just can't score from headers. 5-year plan. So what are they asking for? Avoid relegation from League One. That is about as realistic as you're going to get from this lot. So try to avoid relegation. Actually, no, it's literally... Oh yeah, it is attempt to avoid relegation. Effectively, that's as good as untouchable. It means even if we got relegated, I probably wouldn't lose my job. Let's talk about League One aims. I'm optimistic we can avoid relegation. Help us in avoiding getting involved. No, they'll probably think, no, that's a bit unrealistic if we aiming higher than relegation. I will have to strengthen the squad field to take the steps forward that we want to take next season. Yep. You're right, we can quash all talk of relegation battles. Fair enough. That's probably as good as I'm going to get. Alright, I'm not going to talk about anything else. Quick while I'm ahead. Bertie's back. Great timing. End of the season. He'll be useful for us though next season. But it's a question. Again, it's a question of, am I going to be here? Yes, we'll still prepare as we normally would. I'm still going to be getting players in and getting rid of players as well. But I think it's now time to actually have a look at the job market. This is the first time I'm going to be doing so. Let's have a look. Sunderland in the WSL. Did they go down? There's 14 teams. I think there's only 14 in the whole league, isn't there? Yeah, so Sunderland got relegated. Let's have a look what else there is. I'm more than happy to go to a women's team, to be honest. Toulouse is available, and they're very rich, apparently. Okay, so they're in League On. They finished... I'm guessing they finished 14th? No, they're currently in 14th. I think there's one match to go. Yeah, one match left, and they're safe, actually. That's a proposition. Anyone we know who actually plays for them? Or rather, anyone I know? I thought I said Aaron Cresswell for a moment. I was going to say. Central defender, 6'3". Okay. They've got their own version of Saka. You can call me ignorant for not knowing much about the French league, but to be honest, I don't actually know many of these players. Emerson is their top scorer. Brazilian 24-year-old striker. Haven't had a Brazilian yet in this save. You know what, maybe Toulouse is one to have a look at. I'm going to apply for the job. Groningen, Eredivisie, which is the top Dutch league. Sorry, Holland. They are 13th and they've got a couple of games to go. They're not actually safe yet. No, I'm going to hold on that. They're not even safe, although Ajax have already won the league. Shock and horror. And then you've got Millwall, who are actually... Oh wait, Millwall are down. So, whoops, Millwall are actually down, as are Plymouth, who's also available. Do I want to go to Millwall or Plymouth? They're going to be in the same league as us next season. They might have more money though. That's the only thing. Their finances are okay, they're okay. Watford's insecure and they finished 23rd. But they are a much bigger team. They're going to be looking to come right back up. I find it ironic actually, they're searching for another manager. Watford have a history of sacking managers all over the place. Maybe I'll apply and see what they're offering as well. Nottingham Forest in the WSL 2 and they finished mid-table. Okay, so they're pretty secure in the WSL 2. In fact, you know what? I'm going to apply for the women. Let's see what the women's jobs are saying as well. We have had a women's team approach us. Hashtag. Of course, they didn't give us the job, but it's nice to know that, you know, they're still looking at us. Livingston in the Championship. They finished 9th. Is that relegation? That's not what I wanted to see there. 9th is the relegation playoff. Okay, we're going to hold on that. If they survive, then we might have a look. 63rd in Europe. What is League 1, by the way? I should probably have a look. What level is League 1? So League 2 is 77th. League 1's 44th. Okay, so the Scottish Championship is a step down. Okay, well we've got 4 out. Toulouse, Watford, Sunderland and Nottingham Forest. The last 2 being women's teams. Let's just move forward and can't do anything really until the 1st of July, until these contracts actually run out, any that are running out at the end of the season. And then we'll go through what the actual remainder of the squad is going to be. I think at the moment, how many players am I set to lose? So, oh, Morgan Williams. I need to look at giving him a new contract. Nathaniel Junior Brown, I've already offered him a contract, which he's accepted. Morgan Williams, I'll probably offer him a new one. Wooster and Kobe Hewitson, there are only 2 goalkeepers, but they're good enough even for League 2, let alone League 1. So we will probably let them go. Wooster's rejected the contract offer I've offered him. So that's 8 players, minus 2, hopefully that'll stay, so that's 6. The loan signings, Sanchez Phillips, Noah Freeman and O'Shane Smith, they're going to go back to their parent clubs and they're under contract for next season at least. So that's going to be about 9 players that will leave. So we'll have about maybe 14, 15 players going into next season. And hopefully a lot of wage budget to work with. Unless we move. Obviously that will be a spanner in the works for Kings Lynn. Before I do move on, however, I think it's worth giving some props and credit to some of the players in our squad, especially the best performers over the whole season. And we start with Oliver Iro. He has broken the team record, certainly in this save anyway, for number of goals throughout the season. 34 goals. He's beaten the previous top scorer, which is Joe Bevan, who scored 31. Hence why I've been saying he was the natural Joe Bevan replacement. Forget about Josh Pitts. No one cares about him. As for the players who went out on loan, I don't know how they're doing, and quite frankly, I don't really care because they will not be here next season. So Iro, top scorer in the whole squad, 34. Armani Richards with 25, and it's a shame we can't offer him a new contract. That's why he's unhappy. We just can't afford it. Nathaniel Junior Brown, he has signed his new contract, 19 goals, and Joe Palmer with 13. He has seriously surprised me this season. I thought he'd be the backup to O'Brien Whitmarsh in attacking midfield, but nope, he's made that position his own, and he is now a League One standard player, which is good because he is here for the next 2 seasons. So, some good young players who will be here, regardless if we're here or not, and that's a good sign for the future of Kings Lynn. Assists-wise, Armani Richards at 26, and then it's a long way back to Palmer with 15 in second place. Noah Freeman, right back with 12 assists. Nathaniel Junior Brown with 12 as well, and O'Shane Smith with 8 assists. So that's 2 of our fullbacks. Unfortunately, we're going to be losing them both, and I don't think we're going to be able to get them in because they're under contracts for the next couple of years at their parent clubs. Iro got 8 as well. Carl Daly, by the way, our best youth prospect now that Mark Goff has left in January. 5 goals and 3 assists this season. To be fair, I had doubts if he was going to actually make it in League 2. He certainly has stepped up to League 2. He's only a good League 2 player now, potentially Championship standard. He keeps flitting between Championship and Premier League. Interesting to know, he's now turned 18, and look at the beard that he's growing. He looks like 18 going on 50 with that beard. You might need to get a trim, man, seriously. He hasn't played as many games this season, certainly not started as many. I'm saying that, he started 10 in the league compared to 12 last year. That's because he was injured for about 2 or 3 months, so he's done well as an 18-year-old stepping up to the Football League. He has actually done pretty well, so he fell behind Iro. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I think he'll be alright for League 1. Certainly, if he doesn't make it, we'll just sell him on because his sell-on value is certainly a lot better now as well. Best player in the club is still Armani Richards. I could see us losing him this summer, especially if he stays unhappy. And then it's Joe Palmer with O'Brien Whitmarsh. 9 goals and 7 assists. You know what? He's done well. For someone who's on £3,500 a week, he's certainly been worth the wage. And ever present, except for when he was injured. Yeah, you know what? A League 1 player as well, potentially Championship level. And he's still only 23, so he can do some growing. Right, let us continue moving on through the summer. And I will see you when something significant actually happens, be that interviews or July the 1st. Well, this is a lovely little surprise. We have finally had the transfer embargo lifted because we are now compliant, it seems, with FFP. Oh, that's why, because it's showing as League 1. We haven't ticked over, have we? I don't think we have yet. Require the club to keep player wage expenditure below £60,000 a week. Ah, that's why. The club are currently spending £34,500 a week. Okay, so I've got £25,000 to spend. That is excellent. So I've got most of this to spend. I have to beware, I've got £25,500 to actually spend. Okay, that's not too bad. Can I actually adjust this, by the way? You know what? There's actually no point. So we've got some transfer budget. So I can actually go out and buy some players for once, for the first time in this series. That's excellent. Okay, so looks like I can finally go out and have a look for some players then. Also, judging by the fact that I am here, we got a new scouting budget as well. That's good. As you can tell, I'm obviously still at Kings Lynn as well, which means no job applications have been successful so far. I know that Groningen and Toulouse have already said, no, I'm not successful. We'll keep an eye on what else there is available. My reputation is pretty good at this point. Now, with a regional reputation, it was national, I think, but now it's showing as regional. Is regional is worse than national, right? Or is this just an FM26 thing? I'm going to assume it is. But I've also asked for a coaching course. Didn't get it because I'm guessing no money. This is part of the reason I want to move as well, so I can actually go and get some more badges because I'm still only a National A. It's really frustrating. I want to get into those continental licenses. That will make me more attractive to these clubs. Right then, it is all kicking off now. 3 job interviews have come back for me. This is the men's team of Watford who have come in for me, as well as the women's teams for Sunderland and Nottingham Forest, which is pretty impressive actually. 3 interviews back to back, and we're going to go to every single one. Watford, by the way, they are in the Championship, but they have just been relegated. And I know they're going to be in the same league as Kings Lynn Town next season. But Watford are a far bigger club. Let's be real here. Far, far bigger than Kings Lynn will probably ever be. Sorry to the Linnets. But it's just the reality of the situation at the moment. They are a national reputation club. It'd be interesting to see what their actual finances are. We can actually get a sense of what they're spending on the wages. Hold on. How can I see? Wages wise. Whoa. Who is on over 100,000? Nathan Zezi. 23-year-old French centre-back. No shot. He's an under-21 French international. Okay. They bought him for 70... They're throwing around £17 million in the Championship. Well, he's going to be leaving in the summer, surely. We can't see what clauses he's on, fair enough. But he's surely going to be leaving, and that will bring in some much-needed money, most likely, to this club. Otherwise, the next player down is Imran Louza, who's still there. Roughly £40,000 to £50,000 a week. You know what? There's money in this squad. We're going to go to the interview. Let me just go straight back this way. That's fine. Right, attend the interview. Right, Mark Rees. Good to meet you. Glad you're giving me the chance to talk to the club. Indeed. You've only so far managed one club throughout your entire career. Is this a good thing or a bad thing in your opinion? To be fair, I've not had the longest career, and some opportunities to garner experience elsewhere have been minimal. That is true. Granted, I've had 4 seasons at Kings Lynn, but this is actually true. Yep, that's fine. We'll go with that one. You've done some highly impressive work at your current club. Why do you want to move on? I feel I've taken them as far as I can. That is actually a big reason, a big concern of mine, to be honest. Best served by a change of scenery, or time for me to take the next step. You know what, take the next step. That seems a bit more professional. Can you offer us any assurances you have what it takes to make the jump to managing a club as big as ours? You're going to be in the same league, man. Let's get real here. My body of work proves, yep. You've developed a reputation for applying for other jobs while still employed. What's that all about? Well, you know, just testing out the market, that's all. On each occasion I wasn't enjoying myself and wanted a fresh start. I will always put my own best interests first. Is that the sort of thing you want to say at a job interview? I'm not so sure. What does the promise actually mean? There might have been times where I lacked professionalism. We'll go with that. Can you explain why you appear to be in the running for a few jobs right now? I'm doing whatever I can to keep progressing. I'm exploring my options. Yeah, exploring my options. We want to ensure that the dressing room atmosphere is much better than under our previous manager. Can you assure us there'll be no problems or we to hire you? I won't have any problems. Nope. Players love me. You would potentially replacing someone who did not enjoy a good relationship with our fans. Right? Kings Lynn Town fans love me. Have you seen 3 promotions in 4 seasons? Yep, that's fine. We parted that company with our last manager sooner than anybody anticipated. Can I offer assurances we won't be in for a repeat of that? I've never once seen my club departed after a brief spell. That is true. We aren't in a position to set any expectations for you for the current season. It's because it's over. They'll be laid out for next season if I'm appointed. Okay, that's fine. Any other questions? Yes, I'd like you to give me a coaching course. We believe you're sufficiently qualified to manage our club. So no coaching badge. Alright, I'm only just possibly going in. Alright, cool. Not that I can think of. That's absolutely fine. That will be all. Alright. Job interview number 1. For the 2 women's jobs, we'll go to one of them, and then the other one I'll do off camera, because I imagine they're going to be the same thing anyway. Let's have a look at Sunderland. Where did they finish? So they finished bottom of the WSL. I also applied for the Birmingham City job. I didn't get that. In fact, am I in the running still for that? Hold on. Oh no, I am still in the running for that. Okay, so Birmingham I've also applied for, but Sunderland came back first. So they both finished on 12 points. Crikey, they're pretty bad. Okay, let's see what they're going to do, what they're going to offer. Nottingham Forest, meanwhile, are already in the WSL 2. They finished in 8th. So they finished more or less mid-table. That's fine. So either way, if we manage to get one of these roles, we would... Oh, I went for the Nottingham Forest one. Doesn't matter. I'll do Sunderland off camera. But either way, if we get one of the women's jobs, we will be in the WSL 2 anyway next season. Positive or negative, that thus managed one team. And we'll go for the same option as last time. Evan Townley is the chairperson for this one. It's got the same office, ironically enough. Can you offer us assurances? It's more or less the same questions, isn't it? Are you comfortable managing a team in a considerable financial trouble? Excuse me? Listen, I'm already trying to leave one club that's in financial issues. Oh my gosh. Appreciate need for good financial management. Yeah. I mean, I do follow the wage budget. That's not my problem. Would you feel comfortable working with Kieran Ward, our director of football? He looks better than my previous one, or my current one. More than happy to work with him. No expectations for the current season, that's fine. Allow me to continue my developments. They won't give me one, naturally. Right, okay. I imagine Sunderland's going to have the same questions. In fact, oh, hello, what's this? All set for Nottingham Forest's job after interview. Well, this is leaked to the media very quickly. Sunderland will have the same questions, I imagine, so I'll do that off camera. But by the looks of it, I'm probably in the lead for the Nottingham Forest women's job. Even maybe the Watford job. I'll come back when there's been any developments, or from any other clubs where there's been any developments, but I imagine I probably won't show any other interviews in the meantime. Well. I think it's safe to say we are going to be leaving Kings Lynn town because I've got myself 2 job offers. First up is Watford, who are freshly relegated to League One for this season. So they're going to be one of the biggest clubs in the division, and a transfer budget 4.1 million pounds to spend, a wage budget of 525,000. A lot of that is going to be players who are just coming down, but we won't be able to spend that in League One. We've already seen from FFP you can only spend a maximum of 60,000, but the board want automatic promotion straight back to the Championship. Fair enough, I can get on board with that. At the same time, Sunderland women have also offered me a contract. In fact, what are Watford offering me wage-wise? 3.6k. Sunderland women, 675. What am I actually on? Oh no, I was given a contract towards the end of the season. So 1.1k. And at the same time, Sunderland women are offering me 0 in transfer budget because they're in fact, when I went through their interview, they're in financial issues as well. £20,500 on the wage budget. What are they spending on? What's their highest players on? Roughly 2k. So they're pretty much spending that already. I am leaning towards Watford because I know they're going to be in the same division as Kings Lynn, but they're going to be one of the top teams. In fact, they will probably be the highest reputation team in the whole of League One. Gain automatic promotion back to the Championship, which is going to be the minimum expectation. So we have a higher chance of getting to the Championship with Watford. Whereas with Sunderland, they'll be in the WSL 2, fine, second division of the women's game in England, but also in financial difficulty. You know what? I've actually had enough of financial difficulties for the moment. We had this with Kings Lynn. I am going to be leaning towards going to Watford this time round. I do want to sample the women's game, but I just feel it makes more sense to go to a club where I'm more likely to reach certainly the Championship and potentially even the Premier League with Watford. Watford have been in the Premier League, in the last 10 years? So even by 2029, they've been in the Premier League within the last 10 years. So I'm probably going to go with this club. Let's see if we can get a bit more money out of them. Let's say 4,000. Oh, they've accepted it. That just says how much money they have. Right. We're going to finalise the deal. And yeah, that is Club 1 done, I guess. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. 4 seasons. 4 seasons with Kings Lynn. We've seen them rise from the National League North all the way up into League 1 next season. We will see them next season, ironically. And who knows, maybe we'll come back and poach 1 or 2 players. Or buy 1 or 2 players. I'm looking at you in particular, Carl Daly. You've got championship potential. I may come back for you. I think it'd be good to see how far your development will take you. The likes of Evo, maybe? Depending on what we already have at Watford. But I suppose we're going to find out. And that will be the next episode. Here we go. Welcome to Watford. So not only are we in League 1 next season, we will be with a promotion chasing Watford. The hunt for promotion will begin next episode, and also we will go through the entire squad, tactics, the club as a whole. Next episode, episode 1, Club 2. Be there. If you have enjoyed this episode, and if you're looking forward to pastures new at Watford Football Club next season, make sure you hit the like button down below and smash the big red subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a new era starting next episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for your support on the series so far, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.